Yo, Chad. What is good, man? What is good? What is good? It's another day. It's another stream. You feel me? Let me hear if I sound good. If everything sound good. Let me see. 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 What is popping, yeah? What is popping, yeah? Let me see. I hope everything is good, but everything on my side, it actually looks great. I don't think there's any problems or anything like that. Yeah, we're good though. We're good though. Yeah, we're good though. We're good though. I don't even know what we're gonna do today, bro. I'm just gonna see what's popping in the internet and see what I can react to or anything like that. I'm kind of feeling like some kind of games and shit like that, bro. You check. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I have something to watch though. I think I have something to watch. Let me see. I think I have something to watch, gang. I have something to watch, gang. I have something to watch, gang. Better Squad. I think I'm gonna be checking Better Squad. In the meantime, though, I'm still gonna check a lot of things afterwards. But for now, in the meantime, I'm gonna check Better Squad. You feel me? Y'all better join the chat, bro. Y'all better join the chat, bro. It's gonna be late if y'all starting to notice or see and join the chat. You feel me? It's gonna be fire, bro. It's gonna be blazing. You feel me? But it's good though. It's good though. All in good time, bro. All in due time. All in due time. Let me see why my keyboard is sitting like this though. You feel me? You feel me? I wanna throw some games, bro. Like I don't even know what games. Like I think I've said this before. I only have what you call. I only have GTA. I only have GTA, bro. I don't have any other games. But why my network is so slow though? You feel me? Let me see what I can watch. Let me see what I can watch. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Better squad. I say better squad, bro. I'm super tired. Like it's better for me to like stream on like weekends, bro. Because during the week, gang, damn, bro, it's crazy. I'm telling you, it's like super crazy. Like on God, bro, it's super crazy. Um, what did I see? No, I saw something that Better Squad posted though. Was it a? I think it was a long time ago video, bro. Oh my God, bro. Yeah, it was. I did watch this video before. I can't watch that, gang. I did watch that video before. How can I watch? I did watch that video before, bro. Ray J dropped a video. Ray J dropped a video. One Wish 20 featuring Jaquez. Nah, I'm not watching that, bro. Tory Lanez break his silence from prison. Let's see, what is this?
The internet is on fire again. And this time, it's all about Tory Lanez. Just when fans thought the chaos had finally settled, shocking new developments have flipped everything upside down. Whispers are spreading faster than wildfire. Secret phone calls, leaked messages, and unexpected alliances are painting a picture no one saw coming. They said Tori's story was over. But now, it feels like the real drama is just beginning. From hidden betrayals to emotional confessions,
Talk to me. What's
this
happening,
latest
bro?
twist has everyone asking the same question. Who's really telling the truth? Friends have turned into foes.
Don't matter,
Industry insiders are spilling private tea, and even Tori's own family is reportedly torn apart behind closed doors. In the middle of it all, Tori himself has broken his silence, but his words only raised more questions. Was it a calculated move? Or a desperate cry for redemption? Emotions are running.
But like, even if he said something, how did he say it, though? Like, was it like an interview, some sort of thing? Like,
high, fans are divided,
I hope
and
this is
social
not just a clickbait,
media
though.
can't stop dissecting every
really hope
frame,
it's not a
every lyric,
clickbait.
every look. What really happened behind the scenes? Who's standing by him and who's plotting against him? Stay tuned, because this isn't just another celebrity scandal. This is the Tory Lanez update. It all started on a quiet Monday morning when fans noticed something strange.
Okay.
Tory Lanez, who had been completely silent for weeks, suddenly posted a cryptic message on his Instagram story. No
You know, before we even get to everything, bro. Before we even get to everything, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the full story of everything. I don't know. I think if I'm not mistaken, he is in jail because of illegal firearm or something like that. I think so. I'm not sure. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really sure. But if he is in jail because of, I need to check it out, though. You feel me? After this video, I'm gonna check it out, because if he is in jail because of that Megan Thee Stallion thingy, bro, like, that thing doesn't even make sense to me. Because first of almost, I heard like some rumors about this is all rumors. I didn't like watch the full thingy, you feel me? So this is just some rumors. Here's the thing, right? I heard that they were coming from whatever, who like at the club and something like that, and then they had an argument, and then there was a friend or something like that, and then he shot her in the foot. You check, and then she went to the hospital, and then at the hospital she said that she stepped on glass, something like that. Now, first of all, almost, right? You are a doctor or whatever you are. You know the difference between a glass and a bullet, right? So if I'm mistaken, I think the law says if someone comes with a bullet wound or anything like that, you have to call the police, right? So cool. If she lied and said she stepped on glass, and then they missed that it was a bullet wound, whatever thing like that, then it means they are ass in their job. You feel me? Or if they saw that was a bullet wound, that means they did something illegal. You check. But it then comes back and say the medical report or something like that say that it was a bullet wound. This is just what I've heard. I'm not really sure about it. You check. So which one is which? That's the first thing you check. And then blah blah blah. Okay, you know what? Let me just react to this, and then after I'm gonna check out like the full story behind the whole thing. I'm gonna check it out afterwards. I think that I'm gonna just
explanation. No caption, just 3 words. They set me up. Within minutes, screenshots flooded Twitter, fan pages started spinning theories, and blogs were already calling it the return of the most controversial voice in hip-hop. Nobody knew who they were, but everyone knew one thing for sure. The storm was back, for months. The world had watched Tory fade into the shadows, avoiding interviews, keeping his circle small, and staying off social media. It seemed like he was done with the spotlight. But that one post reignited every headline, every rumor, every unsolved mystery surrounding him. People started asking questions again. Why now? Who was behind this? What was he really trying to say? By afternoon, His close friend and longtime producer,
I
Dre
believe they set
Montana,
him
went
up,
live
though.
on Instagram.
That's what I believe.
His voice shaky, but his tone confident. Y'all have no idea what's been going on, he said, staring into the camera. Tory's been betrayed by someone he trusted more than family. Y'all think you know the story? Nah, it's deeper than that. Those words sent fans spiraling. Betrayal? Family? What did Dre mean? Within hours, every gossip page had turned it into a full-blown mystery. Some claimed Tory's inner circle had been leaking his private conversations to the media. Others said it was something darker, something about money, deals, and revenge. One source even claimed a powerful industry figure had been pulling strings behind the scenes to keep Tory under control. That night, another shock hit. A voice note allegedly from Tory leaked online. In it, he sounded furious, pacing, his voice echoing through what seemed like a hotel room. I gave them loyalty, he said. I gave them everything. And they still stabbed me in the back. But they forgot one thing I don't break. Fans went...
Wait, hold on, bro. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. This whole video is showing the interview and everything like that, right? It's showing the interview of Tory Lanez and everything like that. But my question is, whatever she's talking about, where are they? Where's the receipts?
Crazy.
Like, where's the receipts though?
Was it fake? The clip spread like wildfire.
So I
Within
was
hours,
saying, I don't know
hashtags
if
like
this is
Tom
clickbait
Tory
or
betrayed
not,
and
bro.
Tom Justice for Tory started trending. Everyone wanted answers. The media reached out to his team, but they stayed silent. No confirmations, no denials, just silence. Then came the biggest twist of all. The next evening, an anonymous insider who claimed to be part of Tory's management team leaked private text messages between Tory and an unknown number saved only as K.
Wait, hold on. Before
The
I
messages
just
showed
wanna
heated
check
arguments
something.
about missing money.
Before I even waste my time on this thing, bro, I just want to check something quickly, because I don't know what is this. Ain't no way, bro. Fam Sway, look at this, bro. Look at this. 145 subscribers. Like, no shade at all. No shade at all. You feel me? Like, it might be true, it might not be true. Maybe she's just trying to get, you feel me? But come on, bro. Let me see. Let me do this. Okay, let me actually let me react to the whole thing first. Let me react to the whole full story. I wanna say the whole full story. But this is a lot, bro. I just wanna check like a whole video type of thing. Or should I like react to the, because I see law and crime. Let me see this. I wanna see something. New evidence presented in the Tory Lanez case, including claims of Megan Thee Stallion. Live now from Fox. Should I watch Fox? I don't know, bro. Like, of course he is funky, bro. Like, can I get the whole full story? Yeah, I think this is gonna be. Yeah, let me watch this one.
All right, you guys, in order to understand this case, it's important that we actually start from the very beginning. And I mean seen actually going all the way back to when we first saw Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion together. So let's start back in April of 2020. You guys know this was the height of the pandemic, and during this time, most of us were getting used to socially distancing. Now, although a lot of us are trying to follow the rules, Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez were actually seen hanging out on IG Live. Now, the reason this live stream is so important is because it was the first time we kind of saw them flirting in action. And they also got a lot of backlash because people were asking the question, while we're all socially distancing, these two are hanging out in a bikini and almost half naked, if you know what I mean. This actually moves us in to July of 2020, the date of the incident. And this is where all this drama actually began. You guys remember that TMZ broke a story that Tory Lanez was arrested for basically driving around with a concealed object. We were also told that Megan Thee Stallion was taken to the hospital for a foot injury. Now, earlier that night, guys, we had actually seen Kylie Jenner, Megan Thee Stallion, and Tory Lanez hanging out at a party. And this party would actually be one of those parties that turned out to be the night from hell. We saw all three of them in the pool, and it was obvious that Megan Thee Stallion was feeling some type of way about the way Tory was acting around Kylie. This is actually what happened before we got to the incident that we saw Megan allegedly getting popped in the foot.
Tory, don't get my phone wet.
Now, 3 days after this incident did hit the media, on July 15th, this is where we see Megan Thee Stallion take to her Instagram, and she actually decided to put out a statement accusing somebody of trying to hurt her and physically harm her. Now, this post has since been deleted, but this is what Megan Thee Stallion had to say. On Sunday morning, I suffered wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me. I was never arrested. The police officers drove me to the hospital where I actually underwent surgery to remove the bullets. Now, when Megan Thee Stallion said bullets, people were up in arms because people weren't really sure what to believe. Now, although this was enough in itself, in my opinion, about 3 days later, Megan Thee Stallion went back to Twitter. And this is where Megan Thee Stallion began her Protect Black Women campaign. And the reason I say it's a campaign is because this actual movement did push her into her album release. So Megan Thee Stallion, 3 days, on July 17, 2020, decided to take to Twitter to say this: Black women are so unprotected. We hold so many things in to protect the feelings of others. It might be funny to y'all on the internet. And just another messy topic for you to talk about. But this is my real life, and I'm hurt and traumatized. On July 20th, after Megan had made this statement in regards to protecting Black women, this is where we saw Megan Thee Stallion take to Instagram Live, and she actually cried about the incident between her and Tory Lanez.
You kind of try to fill like your space with a bunch of people that you think is making you happy. I was shot in both of my feet, and I had to get surgery to get the shit taken out, get the bullets taken out. And it was super scary. It was like just the worst experience of my life. And it's not funny. There's nothing to joke about. It was nothing for y'all to start going and making up fake stories about. I didn't put my hands on nobody. I didn't deserve to get shot. I didn't do shit.
Now, after this happened, people were still a little bit confused because Megan Thee Stallion hadn't come out to identify who hurt her. So people started speculating that it was her ex-best friend Kelsey. And I do believe that because Megan left such a gray area, this is where Kelsey did get a lot of backlash, right? Kelsey started getting attacked online. Not so much Tory Lanez until we move into August of 2020. Now on August 20th, this is where Megan Thee Stallion took to her infamous IG Live and she identified Tory Lanez as the person who popped her in the foot. But to Kelsey, right, her best friend, this was actually too late. She had let Kelsey be dragged all through the media and people speculate that it was her. But Megan Thee Stallion nonetheless came out and she said, Tory, you popped me. Check it out.
But I'm not gonna let y'all keep playing in my face. And I'm not gonna let this nigga keep playing in my face either. So, since y'all so worried about it, yes, this story shot me. You shot me. And you got your publicists and your people going to these blogs lying. Stop lying. Why lie? I don't understand. I tried to keep the situation off the internet, but why lie? I don't understand. I tried to keep the situation off the internet, but you dragging it. You really, I never hit you. It was like, oh, she mad because he's Kylie. No, I wasn't. Like, you dry shot me. Like, everybody in the car, it's on me, you, my homegirl, and your security. Everybody in the car arguing. I'm in the front seat. This nigga in the back seat. I get out the car. I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. This nigga from out the back seat of the car starts shooting me. You shot me. I ain't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they saying that. When the police, because the people in the neighborhood, I'm in the front seat. This nigga in the back seat. I get out the car. I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue no more. I get out. I'm walking away. This nigga from out the back seat of the car starts shooting me. You shot me. I ain't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they saying that. When the police, because the people in the neighborhood, there's a witness. When the police came, because the neighbors called the police, this did not happen at Kylie house. This happened damn near back at the house I was staying at. I was just trying to get home. We was 5 minutes away from my spot. The police come. I'm scared. The police is really aggressive. You think I'm about to tell the police that we niggas, us black people, got You want me to tell the laws that we got a gun in the car so they can up? Nigga, I'm scared. Popped over us and some more.
Now remember, you guys, on August 20th of 2020, this was Megan's IG Live, where she identified Tory as the person who hurt her. Now, when we move a month after this into September 25th of 2020, this is where Tory Lanez released his infamous album, Daystar. One of the most notable songs on this album was definitely Money Over Fallouts, where Tory Lanez said, "How you get popped in your foot, but it doesn't hit any bones or tendon?" Now, this actually got Megan Thee Stallion very upset. And about 10 days after Tory Lanez released this song and album, this is where we saw Megan Thee Stallion go on Saturday Night Live and begin her Protect Black Women campaign, which would push her into her album Good News. Now, the reason I say that this was a campaign is because this was during the height of the Breonna Taylor case. So a lot of people were on edge. There was a lot of people talking about Protect Black Women. And I felt, in my opinion, right, in my own opinion, I feel like Megan Thee Stallion used this tragedy to capitalize off that moment. And that's just my opinion on that. Now, you guys know, after Megan did her performance on Saturday Night Live, 4 days after her performance, this is where we saw the LA County District Attorney come out and say they will officially charge Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, with assault. So get this, October 4th, Megan goes on SNL. October 8th, this is where the LA District Attorney officially announces charges. Now, this is what the LA District Attorney said. On July 12th, the defendant, the 24-year-old victim, got into an argument. Now, they were riding in an SUV in Hollywood Hills. When the victim exited the vehicle, Daystar Peterson is accused of popping her several times at her feet and wounding her. They also say that Lanez was carrying a loaded, unregistered object in the vehicle. So this was October. Now, also in October of 2020, this is where we saw Tory Lanez take to Instagram Live himself. Now, while Tory Lanez did not give us the full details of what happened that night, he kept trying to push the fact that Megan Thee Stallion did not get popped in her foot because there were no bones or tendons that were damaged. So although this live stream was unnecessary in my opinion, you could tell that Tory Lanez during this time was really trying to just get his story across without violating any of the orders set by the judge. And this live stream that Tory did actually did cause a little bit of backlash because people felt like he wasn't telling the full truth.
It's crazy because the whole thing about it is like when this whole debacle or whatever you call it came about, the whole time it's like she knows what happened, I know what happened, and we know that what you're saying and what the alleged things and the alleged accusations of my name is are not true. It's falsified information, it's false information, and it's not accurate information. I don't ever want to come off like I'm here to bash this girl or I'm here to talk down about this girl or ever be at a place where like I'm disrespecting her, because to me, as a person, she's still my friend. No matter what, even if she doesn't look at me like that, I look at her like she's still my friend. in the times that we were together or around each other, we've had nothing but joyous moments and good moments. So I'm not gonna sit here and bash her, but at the same time, it comes to a certain standpoint of me as a person where it's like, yo, do y'all want me to just sit here and just allow my name to be assassinated, my character to be assassinated, everything that I worked for to get here to just be assassinated for something that I did not do? Something that the events that are being said are not even accurate and accurately being portrayed to everybody. The narrative that's being created to make me come off like I'm some monster is now what I'm having to live through for 3 months straight of just people just coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And it's like, yo, I'm not here to beg no sympathy from nobody. I've never been one of those people. I'm not a person that's sitting here like, yo, everybody feels sorry for me. Like, nah. Because at the end of the day, if I did what they're saying I did, then by all means, I would say the same exact thing about me.
After October
Here like, yo, everybody feels sorry for me. Like, nah. Because at the end of the day, if I did what they're saying I did, then by all means, I would say the same exact thing about me.
After October 8th, that moves us 5 days after this, which is October 13th. This is where we saw the LA County judge order protection, okay? The judge told Tory Lanez during court, you have been served orally and through your paperwork and your attorney. You are not allowed to talk about this case. You are not allowed to make comments about this case, and you are ordered to stay away from the victim, Megan Thee Stallion. Now, even though we saw that Tory Lanez pretty much got silenced, that same day, guess who went and did an op-ed with the New York Times? None other than Megan Thee Stallion. Literally, the same day that Tory Lanez got his protective order, Megan sat down and did an op-ed with the New York Times. Now, something that stood out to me in Megan Thee Stallion's op-ed with the New York Times is the fact that she continued to push the fact that they were not in a relationship. At the time, none of us really questioned if these two had been dating, but Megan tried to make it a point over and over again that she was not dating Tory Lanez. Megan Thee Stallion said this to the New York Times. I was recently a victim of an act of violence by a man. After a party, I was popped twice as I walked away from him. We were not in a relationship. Truthfully, I was shocked that it ended up in this place. Now, after this happened, on November 20th of 2020, this is where Megan releases her album. Now, Good News had a song called Shots Fired, and this is where Megan actually made the following statement: how do you lie about popping a real B word just to save face for the N words you hang out with? So Megan was pretty much calling out Tory Lanez, accusing him of trying to save his image rather than telling the truth about what really happened in her opinion. Now, in July of 2021, this is where things started to escalate, right? So we went almost a whole year without hearing anything after November of 2020 about this case. But in July of 2021, this is where Tory Lanez violated his protective order after attending and performing at Rolling Loud Festival with DaBaby.
Guess who? 4 times, Stunner. Who you think? Who? Who? I know.
After this happened, the judge actually increased his bail from $190,000 to $250,000. Now, 5 months after this, after the judge had increased Tory Lanez's bail money, this is where we saw the actual detective who goes by Ryan Stogner. He actually revealed a lot more details about the case. He says that Tory Lanez yelled "dance B word" and he was half in and half out the car. The detective also said that Megan immediately felt pain to her feet and she observed that there was red stuff and she fell to the ground. Megan also described to the police detective that her foot was leaking, and this police detective, which is very interesting, right, actually sat down with Rolling Stone to do an interview to talk about these details of the case. And so at this time, people were even more outraged because Tory Lanez had allegedly told her to dance before popping out and popping her in the foot. So it was just a very, very messy situation. Now, as we even more outraged because Tory Lanez had allegedly told her to dance before popping out and popping her in the foot. So it was just a very, very messy situation. Now, as we get out of 2021, right? December of 2021 pretty much ended the whole drama from 2020 to 2021. We kind of took a break, right? Until we got into February of this year. And this is where there was a social media post that tried to say that the pre-trial hearing revealed that Tory Lanez's DNA was nowhere to be found on the gun. And who wrote this? You guys know DJ Akademiks. And this actually took legs of its own. So DJ Akademiks had taken to Twitter, and this is what he had to say about the DNA during a court appearance. Breaking, it was revealed a few moments ago in court that Tory Lanez's DNA was not found on the weapon in the Megan Thee Stallion case. Now, unfortunately, Tory Lanez did not tell DJ Akademiks to do this. However, that did not make Megan stop by any means. And Megan actually took this situation with DJ Akademiks, and this is where she decided to go off on social media, but Tory Lanez had the time and he responded. So for you guys who don't know, DJ Akademiks did delete this tweet because he said that he had spoke too soon. He also alluded to the fact that Roc Nation, who is Megan's management team, were the ones who gave him transcripts and information about what happened in court, right? But that did not stop people from thinking at the end of the day that Tory Lanez had put DJ Akademiks up to this drama because you guys know these two are friends. Now, while DJ Akademiks did deny this, Megan Thee Stallion took to her Instagram and she decided to release a text message without any context. And it actually led people to speculate that Tory Lanez was apologizing, okay, for actually hurting Megan. There was no context. So all hell broke loose. So this is what the text message says. 7 minutes, phone died 3 minutes out. Meg, I know you probably never want to talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry for the bottom of my heart. I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, it should have never happened, and I can't change what did. I just feel horrible. Now, when this was released, there was really no context, right? People speculated that Tory Lanez was apologizing. Other people speculated that Megan was trying to push this agenda. But I think there's something very important about this text message. It's the fact that at the top, it says 7 minutes out, right? My phone died. So that tells me that during the event, during the Kylie Jenner party, Megan Thee Stallion called Tory Lanez to come and participate in the festivities, right? She invited, okay, Tory Lanez there. So whatever happened at that party is the catalyst for what happened inside that vehicle. And that's why I believe that Kylie Jenner and Corey Gamble, their testimony is going to be extremely important if they are called to the stand. And we'll get more into that as we go through this case. Now, after Megan Thee Stallion did put out the text messages, Tory Lanez had a lot to say. And unfortunately, this would again cause him to violate his protective order. So Megan also said this, lie your way out of this. If you ain't do nothing, what are you apologizing for? The lawyers got your phone records and mine. All of your text messages, they got you recorded on the jail phone talking to Kelsey, apologizing, begging us not to say anything. Tory says, you can't buy and tweet your way out of this one. Not today. Good D-word had me effing 2 best friends. And I got caught. That's what I apologize for. It's sick how you spun it though. Then Megan says, effing two best friends, you know that's what you were apologizing for. You keep putting a narrative out that me and my friend fell out about you, and that's not true. Why are you skipping over the popping? Just admit you popped me, because she definitely ain't do it. I ain't do it to myself. Now, what got a lot of people upset is the fact that Megan waited so long to publicly exonerate her friend Kelsey, right? Kelsey had been dragged through the mud about this situation. And unfortunately, because Megan waited until this year to say anything, people have also speculated that Kelsey could be also the culprit, because it was alleged that there was gunshot residue found on Kelsey's hands. And we're going to get more into that as we get into the transcript. Now, Megan then says, "You think it's okay to pop me, then harass me online? Make it like this was some type of weird cat fight? What the actual F is wrong with you?" Megan then said, "Court ain't even started yet, so why y'all already starting to lie?" Megan then says, "I know some of y'all blogs on payroll, but please don't get sued trying to create a hate campaign. Be a real journalist and post facts. And to my haters, keep making yourself look stupid. I don't care. Y'all got breaking news 15 minutes before court started and nobody has even been called in yet? You're trying to win a social media campaign. This is my real life. Y'all trying to get retweets, spreading false narratives? Academics, why are you lying? What did you gain? What's even more effed up is all the public record that nobody even cares to read. The only thing that happened in court today was it got pushed to April 5th. But y'all want to get a lie trending. Imagine how I feel reliving this every day publicly. It hurts. I'm so tired." Now, after this happened, DJ Academics did provide an update, and he said Tory Lanez trial adjourned till April, with Tory's lawyer telling the court they have completed DNA results from the prosecution, which is very pleasing to his client. "I saw the document myself, and it literally says inconclusive in finding Tory DNA." Now, after this happened, this is where Megan again attacked Academics. She said, "Big act, little boy, please. Why would you post there was no DNA found, but saying it's inconclusive? How are you specifically able to see documents before they come out in court? What are you saying? Is his lawyer sharing evidence with bloggers? Got it. Take your big ASS on somewhere." Now, Megan made a mistake here, because DJ Academics actually went on his platform and Big Act drug Megan Thee Stallion throughout the stable. Check it out.
Now, I only jump in and I only feel offended when my integrity is besmirched. Okay? I'm not Trasha K. I'm not other niggas reporting that Queen's dead. I'm not them niggas. Okay? When I'm saying I either seen it or I know the legit people who told me. And to keep it real, if it was ever a lie, I throw them niggas to the wolves. Everybody knows, before you lie to me, act on your ass to the wolf first. So, I want to preface everything I'm going to say by this. Let's not get into semantics of when court started to center. We could talk about that too. A while back, and this is how court works. I'm going to educate a lot of people. Tory is charged with gun possession and I believe aggravated assault. The aggravated assault part is shooting. The gun possession, shouldn't have a gun. Okay. In trying to prove this, that Tory did it, they got to go through a bunch of steps. It's a bunch of parts that's not adding up. It's not open and shut. We're hearing things that aren't really matching up. Now, here's what I'm saying too, because this is where like Meg, I got to like really get at her about. Shorty, like, you just don't talk to me like I'm one of these little PR bloggers. Like, niggas could just put a battery in my back and I'm riding. The first and foremost thing that, and I knew this information, there's discovery. When you get charged with a crime and you're going to go take it to trial, whatever the case is, they didn't have a conversation today about DNA in court. So I see like some other, no, they weren't talking. Yeah, today wasn't a DNA conversation. What I'm actually talking about is actual discovery that the state ran a DNA test on the gun. Yo, Meg, I've been in this music business before you even thought of music, okay? Before you knew your lullabies, okay? So stop with this big, like, little boy. You can't little nigga me, Meg. You just came in, okay? You came in, facts. You can't little nigga me. You can't little nigga me, my nigga. I don't give you got with Tory. You can't little nigga me. Meg, you don't deserve none of them you got. Talking about how you gonna little nigga me? You've been on Rock Nation basically getting sympathy awards for 3 years. Talking about Meg? Is Meg out of her mind?
Now look, you guys, I'm not here to say that DJ Academics was right, but Megan did poke the bear, and unfortunately, she did get that unleashed upon her. Now, although people were pretty much on either Megan or Academic and Tory's side, we were kind of confused. How are you saying that someone popped you, but the DNA is inconclusive? And this is where the court transcripts actually started coming out, and people got a different look into why and how gunshot residue ended up on Kelsey's hands as well. Now, in March 11th of 2022 this year, this is where we saw Tory Lanez release his song Cap, right? And he actually comes out to attack Megan Thee Stallion's boyfriend, Pardison Fontaine. You guys remember that during this fight with Academics and Megan, Pardison came out to defend his girlfriend. And he pretty much said, like, anybody who supports someone who's accused of hurting a woman, right, is a coward. And so this is where Tory Lanez decided to use his Cap song to attack Megan's boyfriend. Now, as we move into April 16th of 2022, Megan Thee Stallion goes to Coachella and she performs her new song, Plan B. People thought that she was attacking Tory Lanez. Megan actually said this on Twitter. I got this song that I recorded, and every time I want to play it for a woman, they start jumping and clapping. I think I want to perform it at Coachella for the first time before I actually drop it. Now, this Plan B song really got a lot of people confused because, again, Megan Thee Stallion did seem like she was poking the bear with Tory Lanez, knowing that Tory Lanez would not be able to respond to her. Now, as we move into April of 2022, Megan Thee Stallion sits down with Gayle King, and let's just say Megan Thee Stallion did herself no favors. This interview got a lot of people feeling like Megan could be untruthful about a few things. Check it out.
I never put my hands on anybody. I never raised my voice too loud. Like, this was one of them times where it was like, it shouldn't have got this crazy.
It shouldn't have escalated to
Right.
the way that it did.
So I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. And all I hear is this man screaming. He said, "Dance, bitch." And he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, he shot a couple of times. And I
So
was
is
so
he
scared.
in the car shooting from the car, Megan?
He
How
is standing up over the window,
Okay.
shooting. And I didn't even want to move. I didn't want to move too quick, like, cause I'm like, oh my God, if I take the wrong step, I don't know if he can shoot something that's like super important. I don't know if he could shoot me and kill me. Like,
Were you afraid for your life at that?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
What was the nature of your relationship with Tory Lanez? Because he has led people to believe that it was a sexual relationship, that it was that you two were dating. What was the nature?
We
of
were
your...
not dating. We
What was
were
the-
really close. We were friends. We hung out like every day.
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
Like sexual?
Yeah. Did you, Megan? Did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship. With Tory.
So why do you think he's putting out the story that the two of you had a relationship and that you're making the whole thing up?
I think that he is trying to deflect from the fact that he committed a crime.
Now, I think what really got people upset about this interview is the fact that Megan sat up there and she denied Okay, she denied the fact that her and Tory Lanez had an intimate relationship when all of us knew and we see that there was an intimate relationship. The reason that we know that there was some type of relationship is because Kelsey Nicole also alluded to the fact that there was a relationship that Megan Thee Stallion backdoored her, right? Kelsey not only went on Instagram Live, but Kelsey also released that diss track where she responded to Megan Thee Stallion dissing her.
I want the you got or something. We all know that I ain't never wanted none of your. It was really come to find out, yo with a nigga behind my back that I was on first. And that ain't right, because you supposed to be my best, you supposed to be my best friend. We laugh that do that to each other. We not supposed to do that to each other.
But Kelsey also said something else in her song Bussin' Back. She said, never been a jealous friend. And the people know it. If you would have kept it silent, then I would have been told it. She says, dang, I thought you was solid, Megan. Now the joke's on me. I ain't want to have to do this. But you steady shooting your shot. Desiree said, if I spoke that drop. For those of you guys who don't know, Desiree Perez is an executive at Roc Nation. So Kelsey accused Desiree Perez of threatening her, that Kelsey, if she spoke out to the media about what really happened in the car, right, that Kelsey Nicole would have a revenge tape dropped to the media and she would be all over the internet. Now, this is what made this situation just so much more sticky. Why are Roc Nation executives allegedly, right, trying to blackmail Kelsey, telling her if she speaks, she's going to have some type of revenge pee put out on the internet? And something else that's so interesting is that Kelsey said, S&D behind my back. Who really on their knee? You're an overachiever. All you do is succeed. You ain't talk about a oh, nasty, okay? So Kelsey said this on her song, and obviously it got a lot of people talking. Now, after this interview, Megan Thee Stallion got a lot of backlash, and she actually went off on Twitter. Someone said this, crazy how Meg gets to speak on whomever platform or song about the situation, but Tory goes to the J word. Being it's still an open investigation. Megan says, so a man can pop me, chop up a horse leg in a music video. Tommy pay blogs to spread false information from what's actually happening in court, record studio albums, and make diss tracks. When I talked to Gayle King, that's the last straw. F y'all. Now, this actually caught a lot of people off guard too, because they felt like Megan was being aggressive for people asking questions. And to be honest, you guys, this whole Gayle King thing was such a bad idea for Megan. It actually made her story just so much more contradictory, and I really do think it hurt her credibility with the general public. I don't think it affected her court credibility, and we still have to see what happens with that. Now, as we move into May of 2022, this is where we saw this report get leaked to the internet. Now, in this document, it was actually a report from the doctor that originally treated Megan, and the report literally said that Megan Thee Stallion was treated for stepping on glass, not treated for an actual wound. But these are things that we already knew, but people not being able to comprehend the document started accusing Megan of lying, saying that she actually stepped on glass and did not get popped in the foot.
On tonight's episode of Clear the Cap, we're going to discuss the Tory Lanez headline that's making the rounds today. You've probably seen the headline. It says a little something like this. New records from doctor confirm that Meg Thee Stallion cut her foot on glass that night. That's all cap. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, these are not new records. These are old records. It's a police report. In the police report, what it says is that the ER physician who treated Meg that night reported to police that he treated her for a foot injury caused by stepping on glass. So the headline sounds pretty right. However, it's all cap. Here's why. Later that night, she was seen by a second physician. That physician was an orthopedic surgeon. He wrote a report that he performed a surgery on her to treat a gunshot injury, and in the course of the surgery, he removed bullet fragments from her foot. So the headline is all capped. However, it's still free Tory Lanez on this side. Here's why. The LAPD doesn't have those bullet fragments. The hospital records say that they turned over the bullet fragments to LAPD. Where are those fragments now? LAPD can't tell you. Going to be very hard to use those fragments as evidence against him if you can't find them. And this is why I continue to believe that while Megan Thee Stallion may have been shot and while she may be a victim, that's not the issue at trial. It's just not. The issue at trial is, can the prosecutors prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Tory Lanez pulled out a gun and shot at her and hit her? And I think the answer to that is 100% no. Because when you consider the eyewitness testimony and the inconsistencies of Megan Thee Stallion's statements, this should not, and the fact that the prosecutor, the cops, didn't even look at any social media to corroborate their investigation. They didn't talk to any of the witnesses at the house party to see what was going on there. None of that. That's a weak investigation, an inconsistent statement from the victim, and an eyewitness who disputes everything the cops and the victim are saying. That case should get dropped, if you ask me. The report that Meg Thee Stallion hospital records confirm, that's cap. But this case should get dropped. I don't think they could prove beyond a reasonable doubt Tory did.
Now, June 15th of this year is where we saw Megan Thee Stallion sit down with Rolling Stone. And she actually came out and said that she wanted Tory Lanez to be placed at the bottom of the jail. And she was really pushing for Tory Lanez to basically get convicted. Megan said this to Rolling Stone: "I never put my hands on Tory, and I don't understand why he popped me. I just want him to go to jail, to go under the jail." We move into September 18th, where the singer-songwriter August Alsina accuses Tory Lanez of publicly attacking him for not acknowledging him during a passing at a performance. And this is where we saw Tory Lanez get into a lot more mess. For example, after this situation did get wind to the court actually placed Tory Lanez on house arrest, and he was ordered to follow the rule of his bail. And he actually had to walk around with an ankle monitor. So this just kind of made people wonder, Tory Lanez, if you popped off on August Alsina for the littlest thing, for not shaking your hand, allegedly, you could have also done this to Megan. And I think we started to see a shift in who people believed, because Tory Lanez did display such a quick temper, allegedly, and also lied about it to DJ Akademiks on IG Live while he was live streaming. People started to realize that there could be more merit to Megan Thee Stallion's story. Now, after this whole August Alsina situation, on September 23rd of this year, this is where we saw rapper DaBaby release his song Boogeyman, where he said his infamous line, "You play with Ish," was childish. The day before, she said Tory popped her, I was effing on Megan Thee Stallion. So this actually got people confused. The fact that Megan Thee Stallion was allegedly out here, right, DaBaby and Tory Lanez at the same time. People got a lot of questions after this. Megan, are you really out here moving like this? Are you really out here with all these industry men? And so Megan really did catch a lot of backlash after DaBaby said this about her. But Megan also kind of took that power back. And Megan also came out to say, look, it's my body. I can do what I want and do what I want as I please. Now, after September 23rd, this is where we see on October 4th that DJ Akademiks sits down with Tory Lanez, and they talk about the things that Tory Lanez could be facing. Tory Lanez was very, very short, and he was very, very clear on his statement. And he basically said, look, guys, I am actively facing 24 years next month. Check it out.
Just speak to the people, because the narratives are starting to go against you now. The narratives are saying you're the bad guy. Why don't you just say, no, hey, no, that's not what happened. Like, just defend yourself.
It's as simple as 3 words, brother. Time and place. There's going to be a time and a place for that. But I do know this is not the time and place. The internet, like I said, is not a therapist. It doesn't matter what I say to those people online. Until it is in that black and white, it doesn't matter anyway. So there will be a time and a place. The difference between a lot of artists and me is they get so fed up with the nah and the screaming at them and the you did and the accusation or whatever it is that they're going through, that they feel the need to express themselves to people who do not know them. There is a time and a place, brother.
Now, after this interview, this is where we saw on November 4th that the rapper 21 Savage and Drake did release their song Circo Loco, which actually threw shot at Megan Thee Stallion. Drake said, "This B-word lied about getting shots, but she's still a stallion. She don't even get the joke, but she's still smiling." Now, Megan Thee Stallion actually went off on Drake about this very distasteful line, and Megan Thee Stallion said this: "Stop using my S word for clout, B-A-N-word. Since when the F is it cool to joke about women getting popped? You N-words, especially our N-words, are lame. Ready to boycott about shoes and clothes, but dogpile on a black woman? And when the MF facts come out, remember all you HOE favorite rappers that stood behind a man who popped a female." Now, this actually got a lot of people, again on Megan's side, because it almost made it feel like people were attacking Megan, especially the rap men of the industry. So we did see another shift again in who the public believes, and people really did rally behind Megan after Drake made this diss. Now, after all these series of events, this leads us into this week, right? December 5th, when jury selection was set to begin. And this is where we also saw the prosecutors try to add a third felony charge to Tory Lanez. And a lot of people, in my opinion, this was done because they don't think that first charge could stick. And so they're looking for something, a lesser charge, where they can just backdoor Tory Lanez in because they may have tried to add a third felony charge to Tory Lanez. And a lot of people, in my opinion, this was done because they don't think that first charge could stick. And so they're looking for something, a lesser charge, where they can just backdoor Tory Lanez in because they may have a weak case. Now, on Monday, the prosecutors asked Judge Hereford that if Peterson declines to testify, that his lawyers should be barred from pursuing a third-party culpability defense. For example, they're saying this: if Tory Lanez isn't going to testify about the state of events, then he should not be able to provide witnesses who give account about what happened, because them themselves don't know who the actual person is who popped Megan. Now, Mr. Bott, is the actual prosecutor. And he says, right, there's a witness who basically said that the muzzle flash went off closest to the woman, right? They also say that they saw a fight break out before the actual pop started. So then this witness, who is grossly unreliable, shouldn't be able to give his testimony. But it doesn't really work like that. And so the judge said, look, until I see this in formal writing, I am not going to be making any rulings, and the prosecution is going to have to present some type of evidentiary paperwork to say why this should happen for Tory Lanez's case. Now, just because they added another charge, you guys, does not mean that Tory Lanez is guilty or that they found new evidence. Usually when they add new charges, it's because they don't have enough evidence for the major charge. So what they're going to do is include a lesser charge, which actually gives the jury the opportunity to consider a lesser offense, which they charge Tory with, right? That doesn't have the same weight as his original charge. If they charge Tory Lanez with just assault, that means that he would not have to have intended to hurt Megan, but more so the actual prosecution would have to prove that because Tory Lanez Lanez was reckless in the use of the firearm. He knew that by projecting the firearm out, even if he didn't intend to hurt Megan, would leave a reasonable belief that people around him would be hurt. So that is negligent, right? That is reckless. Now, if we actually get into the fact that most recently that the actual detective, you guys remember Stogner, who did the interview with Rolling Stone? Well, it did come out that he was relieved of duty. Now, the prosecutor did not want to call him to the stand. However, the judge allowed the defense to do so. So why is that? Well, this is what went down. So allegedly, Mr. Stogner, the detective, was unfortunately relieved of duty because he was found to have probably committed DV. Although the prosecutor says they did not plan on pushing any charges, they also said, look, because of what he has been going through and doing in his personal life, he won't be called to the stand. So Tory Lanez attorney, Mr. M, he actually said, no, we want him on this. The reason we want him on the stand is because without Stogner, we don't know what happened in that vehicle. For example, the detective Stogner is the reason that the court found probable cause to charge Tory in the first place. You guys remember, it was Stogner's testimony that gave merit to the prosecution's case that Tory was the assailant. On top of that, defense attorney for Tory Lanez is like, look, I want to talk about those witnesses who say they saw the muzzle flash go off closer to the woman. I want to talk about those witnesses who contradict this victim's story. And in order for me to prove that this investigation was not only botched, but not done correctly, I want to call your detective who was relieved of duty. And the judge agreed. So this is a great stance for Tory Lanez. This is going to cause nothing more than reasonable doubt. So after this happened, you guys, we are now here today and jury selection has finally been confirmed. The jury is ready to go and opening statements do begin December 12th. So that's it, you guys. Let me know what you think about this topic. Did I miss
Now, back in 2022, Tory Lanez was found guilty of 3 felonies related to the Megan Thee Stallion shooting that happened back in 2020. It was one of the most confusing and controversial stories in hip-hop in recent years, a long saga that completely divided fans over what actually happened that night. Then in August 2023, Tory Lanez was officially sentenced to 10 years in prison. Ever since then, things have been kind of quiet on Tory's end. There hasn't been much of a spotlight on Tory, no major statements and no updates from his camp. However, back in May, reports surfaced that Tory was actually stabbed during a prison attack, a story that I actually never ended up covering. Thankfully, he survived, but the incident gave fans a rare glimpse into the reality of his life behind bars. Aside from that, he's actually been very active on the music side. Recently, Tory's team completed uploading 2 of his classic tapes on streaming platforms, a move that's brought his name into the conversations again. But before we go deeper into everything that's been happening with Tory right now, let's rewind for a second back to where this whole situation really started. Back in 2022, Tory Lanez was found guilty of 3 felonies related to the Megan Thee Stallion shooting that happened back in 2020. It was one of the most confusing and controversial stories in hip-hop in recent years, a long saga that completely divided fans over what actually happened that night. Then in August 2023, Tory Lanez was officially sentenced to 10 years in prison. Ever since then, things have been kind of quiet on Tory's end. There hasn't been much of a spotlight on Tory, no major statements and no updates from his camp. However, back in May, reports surfaced that Tory was actually stabbed during a prison attack, a story that I actually never ended up covering. Thankfully, he survived, but the incident gave fans a rare glimpse into the reality of his life behind bars. Aside from that, he's actually been very active on the music side. Recently, Tory's team completed uploading 2 of his classic tapes on streaming platforms, a move that's brought his name into the conversations again. But before we go deeper into everything that's been happening with Tory right now, let's rewind for a second back to where this whole situation really started. Back in July 2020, news broke that Tory Lanez had been arrested on a gun charge after what was described as an argument outside a Hollywood Hills party. According to TMZ, police got a call around 4:30 a.m. about a disturbance outside a residence. Witnesses reported hearing people arguing inside an SUV, followed by gunshots in the air before the vehicle sped off. When police later found the SUV, both Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion were inside, along with another man. Officers also found a firearm in the car, and Tory was taken into custody and booked for carrying a concealed weapon. At the time, reports claimed that Megan simply had cut her foot on broken glass inside the vehicle, but what nobody knew back then was that this would eventually turn into one of the most controversial and confusing cases in modern hip-hop history. Because just hours before all this, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion had actually been seen together on Instagram Live, hanging out at a pool party with Kylie Jenner. Nobody could have guessed that by the end of that same night, things would spiral into a situation that would dominate headlines for years. A few days later, things started to take a darker turn. On July 15th, 2020, Megan Thee Stallion came forward publicly and revealed that she had actually been shot multiple times that night. In an Instagram post, she said, "I suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me." She didn't mention who shot her or why at the time, but this post completely changed how people viewed the situation, because up until that point, most headlines made it sound like it was just broken glass or some kind of accident, and then Megan clarified that she had undergone surgery to remove the bullets and wanted to correct the inaccurate stories that were circulating online. And that's when the narrative started shifting very fast. Tory Lanez had already been arrested that night on a concealed weapons charge and was released on bail shortly after, but Megan's statements made it clear this wasn't a misunderstanding or a small altercation. Something serious had gone down that night. Then came the shocking twist that completely changed everything. In August 2020, Megan Thee Stallion went live on Instagram and directly accused Tory Lanez of shooting her. Looking straight into the camera, she said, "You shot me."
Yes, this nigga Tory shot me. You shot me.
She also called him out for allegedly letting his team spread lies to blogs and media outlets to downplay what happened. At that point, Tory hadn't been charged for the shooting itself, only for possession of a concealed weapon, but this moment flipped the entire narrative. What had started as speculation suddenly turned into a full-blown accusation. In a sense, the internet into chaos. Fans were split. Some people immediately believed the SUV near Hollywood Boulevard. Officers found history, and a lot of people were just wondering, like, what was hit. Shooting of Megan Thee Stallion.
Musician Tory Lanez convicted of shooting rapper Megan Thee Stallion.
Admitting that he had said some immature things during the years that followed, his father gave an emotional statement as well, talking about how Tory's music became his outlet at just 11. The attack happened early in the morning inside a housing unit at the California Correctional Institution of, I have no clue how the hell you say that, I'm not even gonna try. Tehachapi. Alright, Tehachapi. Tory was reportedly stabbed at the California Correctional Institution of, I have no clue how the hell you say that, I'm not even gonna try. Tehachapi. Alright, Tehachapi. Tory was reportedly stabbed 14 times by another inmate, suffering wounds to his back, torso, head, and face. The injuries were so severe that both of his lungs actually collapsed. He was rushed to a nearby hospital and temporarily placed on a breathing machine before being stabilized. A post shared to his Instagram later said that Tory was awake, speaking normally and in good spirits, despite the pain, thanking God for helping him pull through. Prison officials confirmed an investigation was underway, though they didn't share details about what led up to the attack or the motive behind it. Not long after the stabbing made headlines, more details started to come out about who was behind the attack. According to officials, the man accused of stabbing Tory Lanez was 41-year-old Santino Casio, a convicted killer currently serving a life sentence for murder. Casio has been locked up since 2004 and was already known for doing a bunch of violent stuff, behind bars. Over the years, he picked up a bunch of charges while he was incarcerated, including assaulting another prisoner in 2008 and being caught with a weapon again in 2018. After the attack, Casio was placed in restricted housing while investigators looked into what happened and why. Prison officials haven't shared any motive, but it was clear this wasn't some random fight. Casio's record paints the picture of someone who's been dangerous for a long time, and the stabbing left Tory Lanez with multiple wounds across his body, collapsing both of his lungs again, and forcing him into a breathing machine. Still, he managed to pull through, and according to his Instagram, he's been talking, staying positive, and thanking God that he's alive. So very lucky for Tory that he survived, and to this day nobody knows exactly why the attack happened. Prison officials never released a motive, and honestly, that's not unusual. There's a lot of politics that go on behind those walls that most people never hear about. It could have been a misunderstanding or someone trying serving a fixed sentence, and it's speculated that he'll be out before 2030. So for somebody who's stuck inside forever, maybe that alone was enough reason for them to lash out. Either way, it's still wild to think that this could have literally been the end of his life, but thank God it wasn't, right? Tory ended up recovering from the incident, and from what's been reported, he's doing a lot better now. We know that both of his lungs had collapsed, and injuries like that can take a long time to heal. Collapsed lungs can leave you with breathing problems. He has been active, by the way. Recently, he put up 2 of his new Toronto tapes on streaming platforms. Security guard had come forward claiming he overheard Megan. Another update came out about Tory's case. According to reports, his lawyer tried to submit what they called new evidence that could potentially change everything for Tory. His legal team stated that a security guard had come forward claiming he overheard Megan's former best friend, Kelsey Nicole, or I believe that was her actual nickname, right? But her real name is Kelsey Harris, admitting that she had fired the gun and that Tory actually had tried to stop her. They also argued that Tory's driver never got to testify during the trial, which they believed could have helped his case, but the court, they just didn't buy this. And both requests were officially denied on August 13th, 2025. Tory's lawyers said that the security guard's statements proved Tory never shot anyone, but Megan's team quickly shut that down, saying that the case had already been handled in court and that Tory was convicted by a jury of his peers. So for now, the so-called new evidence won't change anything. Tory's still serving his 10-year sentence, and once again, his attempt to challenge the case fell short. Now, a few days after that, Tory's legal team was back in court again. This time, they were arguing that his original trial in 2022 wasn't fair. And according to reports, Tory's lawyer claimed prosecutors said things in front of the jury that they couldn't really prove, mainly about Megan's former bodyguard. His name is Justin. And back then, prosecutors told jurors that Justin Edison, Megan's former bodyguard, would testify and say that Tory admitted to being the shooter after the incident. But he actually never ended up showing up to court, so he basically just disappeared. And Tory's lawyers said that That move wasn't fair because it made the jury expect a key witness who never came, which could have influenced how they saw the case. The judges listened to both sides but didn't really say much, and the prosecution fired back, calling the defense argument nonsensical, and said that there was already enough evidence to convict Tory, from witness statements to texts and even recorded jail calls. Right now, the judge still hasn't made a final decision.